Right, hello, welcome along to part 5 of this tutorial session. Before we go ahead and model the telephone, I'd like to finish off the Mac. So what we're going to do for this one is we're going to start texturing. We're going to make an animated texture, meaning I'm going to add a video texture. Rather than just a static image, we're going to add a video as a texture. Okay. Now, what I want to do first and foremost is I'm just going to add a shiny material to my scene, so to my laptop. Right, still got everything frozen from the last video. What I might choose to do is I might scale up my computer screen ever so slightly, just so I get it a little bit larger. Quick and easy way to scale it. Just make sure we place it nicely on the table so it's not floating. And let's rotate it ever so slightly so that it's not sitting right at us. Okay, very nice. So that's okay, we're happy with that. Right, now I'm going to add some texture. So I don't want to have the screen highlighted, but I want everything else highlighted. Let's just check the right layer still. Yep, my Mac layer. I've got my Liner 1 screen Mac. Right, yet again, I've let myself down. Let's change the name Liner 1 to stand. Could just right click to rename that really, but there you go. So let's highlight stand, let's highlight the back of that. Fantastic. So M to bring material editor up. You can make whatever texture you like for this, but I'm just going to do a sort of off-white coloured, glossy, shiny, sort of semi-plastic, semi-metallic, basic colour. Okay, pretty straightforward, nothing to it. Okay, I haven't really done anything else than that. I'm not too worried about the background, you can't see that much of it. The stand is actually the same colour in my scenario. I could then go make the stand sort of a matte white finish rather than a shiny white finish. In fact, let's do that actually. Let's just give it sort of a greyer. And we don't want it to have the shine, okay, so that's quite a grey sort of dull shade. Make sure both those materials are highlighted. Okay. Brilliant. So those two both now have a texture applied to them. So lastly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a video to this back screen. Now I'm actually going to create this video first, and where I'm going to create that is in Flash. Okay, it might not be the most dynamic of software, but it works perfectly for what we're going to do. We're just going to create a basic spam sort of looking email message to come up on the back screen. So what we're going to do, so I'm going to pause the video here and I'm going to bring up Flash. So don't be surprised if suddenly Flash pops up open on your screen. Okay, here we go, I'm in Flash. So I'm going to create a new ActionScript 3. It's the latest one. Here's my canvas here. So basically what I want to do is I'm going to have a flashing screen come up that says, well, it can say anything, one new email or urgent message, something like that. So let's use the text tool. Let's just drag, my font looks like it's going to be ever so slightly too big, so we'll reduce that right down. We're going to write urgent message. Okay, let's change this colour to black. Let's extend the box out, move that into the middle there. Urgent message. Okay, nothing too exciting about that. What I'm going to do is I might add some polygons in. Let's think about what I'm going to do for this. Right, I should probably have a think. Right, I'm going to pause the video and then I'm going to have a think about what I want to do for this scene, which will make sense just to make this look cool. And then we'll go from there, alright? And I'll let you know. Right, I've had a think and actually realised what I want to do for this. So, first and foremost, let's have a look at the line tool. Yes, leave it blue. Urgent message, let's make ourselves a nice line here. Okay. Might up that stroke a little bit actually. Change it something up. 5, see what that looks like. Okay, brilliant. That's that. Right, I've copied one up there holding Alt, I have Shift as well, right. urgent message. Okay, let's put a bit more text in, say open. Let's use this colour here. Let's move it to the bottom corner there. Okay, now we're going to add some star shapes. So I'll come into the polygon tool, click and drag down, just press options. Yeah, you can change it from polygon to star, 5-sided, 0.5, that's alright, don't really care too much. Don't want a stroke colour. Let's have some green ones. This is going to look horrible, just saying, but why not? I'm holding shift. Hold shift down, put the stars so they come out straight. Holding alt and shift, and drag some stars out. Let's highlight them all, holding shift, hold alt. Beautiful. Doesn't matter too much if these are not perfect. It's only for show. It's just an idea to show you exactly what the message is going to be on the screen. I mean, of course, you could Photoshop something really nice if you want. I've showed you how to use Photoshop before, so you should all know. Let's add, let's change the stroke colour down a little bit. 3, no, 2, and let's put in a line there, just frames it nicely. Okay, urgent message, nothing too exciting about that. So, what I'm going to do, I've got my message here, I'm going to scroll to frame 25. Now we're going to do a bit of animation, we have looked at this a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I've pressed F6 on my keyboard, so all of the items in this screen exist all the way until frame 25. And after that, they no longer exist. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layout. I'm going to put a keyframe in here, F6, make it blank, scroll all the way to frame 50, F6, and I've got, this. What I'm going to do basically is make this a looping animation, so it's going to go on, off, on, off, on, off, but I might reduce that down so it's about half the length. Come to about there. So that it's on for longer than it's off. Just highlight those, right click, remove frames. Okay, so what is basically going to happen is this is just going to keep flashing up on your screen, which is cool. So let's do that. Right, so what we're going to do is we'll go File, Export. I mean, obviously this is only basic, just trying to show you in a couple of minutes so we can finish this project in the space of a lesson, but it will do the job for now. Right, Export, Export Movie. Let's call it, let's not save it there, let's save it somewhere you remember, and let's call it Spam. Save it to Navi, that's fine, press save. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, we're gonna wait for it to export. What I might do is pause the movie and then show you how to bring it into 3ds Max. Right, so here we go. We're back in 3ds Max. I've cheated a little bit, I'll show you what's going on. Right, what I'm going to do, just like we're adding a picture, we go to Diffuse, so we get materials up, we go to Diffuse, we add a material, click on bitmap, and it brings up this screen. Obviously then you can navigate to the bitmap, just as you do if you've got a picture, but this time I've got my spam video clip, so I'll press spam, and that adds a video clip, okay? At the moment it just looks like a texture. So as you notice, the texture itself actually is facing the wrong way and also slightly too big. So we're going to quickly correct that. So what we're going to do is go to Tiling. We're going to make it ever so slightly bigger. Obviously we've got white borders, so it's fine. We're going to make it 1.25 by 1.25. You notice that fits quite nicely in the square. It's just because the proportions were ever so slightly different when I made the flash. I was quite lazy and I didn't change the canvas size. Next fix to rotate this is that I'm going to go back up and I'm going to change it to a two-sided object. What I do is I press on two-sided here, and then last but not least what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to come up to pivot, go to Effect Pivot Only and press Center to Object, and what that does is it moves the pivot point to right into the center of this this plane here, because obviously it was originally part of the screen, so it's using the screen as the pivot point. And what we're going to do once we've done that is turn off Effect Pivot Point, and we're just going to rotate this screen 180 degrees, and guess what? We've got urgent message come up there. So we've got ourselves our video. It's applied as a texture. Okay, so that's wonderful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scrub all the way to say 30, and you can see texture's changed because it's disappeared. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I will make, I don't know, say a, let's just scroll through, see, I'm going to make a little animation here, so I'm going to turn it off, don't need to see that, it's fine, it's just meaning that it's taking longer to render. I'm going to make a 45 frame scene. Right, first I need to configure the scene. We have done this before. You come down here to time configuration. We're set up at NTSC, which we don't want. We go to PAL. And we're just going to make ourselves a 40-second scene. Okay, so end time is 40. It'll actually now be 41. Let's change that right down. Length is 39. Okay, that's great. Let's go 41. There you go. Once that's done, press OK. You'll see this has changed. So we've got ourselves a 40 frame animation. Okay, 40 frames of action. Now what we can do is we're going to go back to our camera angle by pressing C. I may want to change that, so what I might do is go back into perspective viewport. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, change my viewport a bit. There you go. Happy days. Right, I'm happy with that. There's going to be a telephone there as well. So what I'm going to do once I'm happy with that view is I'm going to press F10 on my keyboard, and I've got to change the render setup yet again. So this is everything we're seeing, but how do we render an animation? Okay, let's have a look. So we've got all these, right. Active time segment 0 to 40, or range. So if I didn't want to render every single scene, but I'm going to render every single scene, so I'm going to go active time segment. I'm going to change that 0 to 40 rather than just a single one frame. And once I've done that, I am going to scroll all the way down and render output. Now this is obviously the output, what's it rendering, but we need to save it somewhere if it's a video. So we click on files and we find our location and we say test render screen. Right, okay, and we're gonna save it as an AVI, press save. I'm just gonna leave the compressor for now. Right, perspective viewport. I'm actually going to change that to camera 02, so I've got two cameras in my scene, so I press Ctrl C. Now when that's ready, I'm just going to hit render, make sure you hit render there. And I was just testing some renders there, that's why that's come up, back to front. What we're going to do is we're going to find ourselves rendering our animation. Okay, so let's have a look in the top corner. Watch what it does as the renderer happens. So it's going to render every single frame one by one. And then essentially what it does in the AVI file is it stitches them all together for seamless movement. Okay, so watch. Obviously it's going to take a while because we've got hair and fur in the scene. It has to render that every single scene. It renders that unless we baked it in, which we haven't. So it's absolutely fine. And what we're going to see is this message eventually is going to flash up like it is now, and then it's going to disappear. Maybe I could have changed this so the border was down a little bit. Alright, it's not perfect, but it looks a bit wonky as well, to be fair. Probably where I tiled it. But we can correct that afterwards, okay, as long as you get the principles. So what's going to happen is this is going to flash up for 25 frames, then it's going to disappear. And then what we'll do, once we've made this AVI, is we'll loop this AVI over and over again. And basically what that will mean is that when we've looped it over and over again, is it'll look like it's flashing. So we don't obviously need to render it flashing over and over. We only need it in its on state and in its off state, and then if you loop that video, it's just going to look like it goes on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off over and over again. Okay, and we can do that. We're going to set that up at the end. So what we'll do is we'll wait, watch this render, and I'll show you what the final render looks like when it's finished. Okay, right, excellent. So it's started to render frame 2 of 41. If I pause the video here, I shall show you in a minute what the final render looks like. Right, so my render's an hour, if not a little bit more, so please do be advised when you think about coming to render yours, how long it takes. And I just want to quickly show you the preview of it, if I can get it to work, as the screen capture thing seems to be messing up with my computer. So I'll pause the video and then I will show you it. Right, so as my screen recorder seems to have sort of broken, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the video at the start of the next one, of the next part of this video, so that you know exactly what it should look like. And then we're going to model the telephone, animate that, and complete our scene, make it interactive. Thanks very much.